This weekend's not good for me. I have to work on my script. Yeah, this weekend's not good for me. I have to work on my script.
Good morning, everybody. It's been a long time since I streamed. I don't even remember the last time I did. I think it was like what 2 months ago. Shit, let me check. Yeah, it was like close to 2 months ago though. I think the last time I did it, I was a logging on the LCU. Still am to this day because why the hell not? I don't even know what we could even talk about. Give me 1 second. Let me see if sound is coming through. Oh yeah, so we're good. We're good. We're good. You guys can hear me. So yeah, it's been a quite been some time since I haven't really streamed. Been mostly clearly a log in the LCU. Covering different story, things what happened, stuff what happened with links, stuff that happened with grades, a bunch of other stories, and a bunch of other shit that has been going on. Personal, some stuff that's been going on in my personal life. I've just been rolling in it, right? Just in and out. I've been on like probably like one or two streams that are not mine, that are on a different stream. Right, I was on Ruby's stream a couple days ago, only for a brief period of time. And then before that, I was on the short-lived, brought back, low calorie reject. Right, I was on that for like I think maybe two different times, I believe. I don't remember. So it's been a just been just you know what I mean. Just been some time taking some time away from streaming. I decided, try to stream once a month, try to see how everybody's doing, maybe talk about some stuff, enjoy myself, just felt like I needed to. I haven't really been doing some stuff. So I just decided, yeah, how about I'll stream today? Tuesday morning. Hey, what's up, man? How you doing? It's good to see you, Jason. Hey there. Hey, 540 studio or five. Sorry, I pronounced your name wrong. This is Jason. How you doing there, man? I'm doing it. Hope you're having a good Tuesday morning. I hope you're enjoying yourself. There's a lot I guess we can cover today. Things within the whole cover some stuff on the locale live. Some stuff that happened with Amaru that I'm gonna take a bit of an L on because oof ooh oof. It's good to see you're all right, Mike. You know, I'm doing good. Yeah, it's good to see people are doing good. That's all that matters, right? All that matters is having people doing good. I'm doing good. I'm drinking some nice, lukewarm Dale coffee. Hope you are doing good. Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I've only got like 4 hours of sleep, and I have like probably 2 or 3 cups of coffee in my blood system with no water. So I'm gonna crash and burn. I woke up really early today, so and I had to go back and redo a video because YouTube decided to age restricted uh, when all the other times when I, clip the LCU, I've never had a problem, but 2 different times. Okay, YouTube, I guess that's perfectly fine. All other times, I'm sorry if I'm blowing the mic. All other times, right? I've clipped them and I, talk over them. I've never had a single problem, right? I've just nope, nope, nope. YouTube decided, nope, we're gonna age restrict your video, and I'm just like, you're not even telling me coffee is a key to life. Yeah, coffee is a key to life. I was smoking cigarettes again or cigars because then that would make my life even more better. But I decided to quit. And nicotine withdrawals are not the best. If you ever smoke for a long period of time and then decide to quit, you're either gonna relapse or you're just gonna crash and burn. You know what I mean? And yeah, sometimes YouTube can be yeah, YouTube can be a female dog. It's can't it sucks. It sucks because like it's not like it's hard to understand why YouTube does it. Like I think something people have to realize is that over the years, YouTube just like most form of millennial media, YouTube is sort of a byproduct of like kind of early millennials and late, I think, what are they called? Gen X, right? The people right after the boomers. Because if you look at the 90s, where the 90s were a year of like intensity and gore and violence, like you had things like early MTV, you had like a lot of the early independent comics. You know, it started in cartoons back then with cartoons, right, like Ren and Skippy and stuff like that were a lot more like they were pushing the boundaries, right? It was like that. YouTube was something similar like that during like the for the best for really for the most part in the 2010s. And then during around like I would say around like 2018, 2019 during the apocalypse, but right before the pandemic, YouTube shifted, right? And that forever changed YouTube because you could get away with a lot of things back then. You could literally say the N word on YouTube without it being censored. iDubbbz literally, and we may look at the iDub content crap because it was total crap. Let's just be real, right? Let's just be real. But iDub literally was saying the N word just unfiltered, right? So that's what I mean. But for a number of reasons, YouTube shifted. And it wasn't just simply YouTube itself, it was also the people, right? Because around that time, you did see the rise of like BreadTube, and that became very dominant on YouTube. So censorship became kind of the norm. And even now, we're still seeing it, and whether or not it ever get lifted is a different question. Because on one hand, right, on one hand, You got to remember, YouTube is a business that needs to make money, and people need to make money, and people make careers out of this, right? So there's that. Yeah, I've been trying to quit, but they go back, so I need to try again at some point, so my lady and my kids can be happy. There. Yeah, yeah. Smoking is it's very hard, right? Um, I've gone through phases where I stopped smoking. Oh wait, hey, 54 Studio, how you doing? We got two different. No, wait, 540 Studio, 540. I can't even speak today. I can't even read. I'm like Keemstar. I can't read. I can't write. But I sure, I guess I don't really goon. But what was I saying? What was I originally saying? Oh yeah, yeah, about smoking. Yeah, the smoking is very difficult. I did follow you on my mainstream channel. So, oh, did we talk before? Uh, sorry, I've been out of the loop with my personal streams and a lot of things. So I'm kind of getting back to it, and I feel like I needed to stream again because I wanted to leave touch space with my with this channel because this channel is growing, right? The last time I streamed, I just hit 200 subscribers. Now, as I'm currently streaming, we're inching to 300, and then eventually 400 and 500. So I decided to at least start to stream more as his channel grows. I should at least touch base with my audience or the people that watch me, right? Haters or lovers, it is what it is. So I should at least try to stream and talk to people, right? The best way to really communicate with your audience is, sometimes stream and just talk to them as people and not try to belittle them when you can't. Obviously, you should never belittle your audience. But you got 301 subs now. Oh shit, we hit 103 subs. Hey yo, let's go. Uh, so yeah, that's what I'm trying to say, right? Because I feel like as your channels grow, you should always be willing to touch base with your audience and not belittle them. If anything, I will learn by a logging the LCU is that you should never like treat your audience like kids. You should never treat your audience like dog shit. Now, I do agree to some extent with Keemstar that you should always have your own opinion, stick by them, and shouldn't let people change it. But at the same time, you can still disagree with your audience and still be respectful and not treat them like a child, right? No, every content creator is eventually gonna make that mistake, and I'm self-aware now where I think I will make that mistake, but I need to be, have the balls to at least admit it when I do make that mistake, and even say early on, right? It is what it is. We're only humans at the end of the day, so I think that's only just necessary, you know. And you should never like scam your audience on top of that, right? We've seen that a number of times, right? If I learn anything very important, you could learn a lot by watching locales. You can learn a lot about yourself and learn about the human nature by seeing people at their worst compared to their best. Because when you see somebody at their best, that could just be an illusion they're creating or an illusion that they want you to believe versus at their worst, who a lot of the time people at the and sometimes people do create an illusion at their worst, you know but a lot of the time online when people are at their worst, they show it rather than hide it for any amount of reasons. It goes to have your own views, and yeah, to me as a and I'll disagree at time and have our view of those, but always respect and sometimes jokes and with disagreement. Always, 100%, 100%. You should always have your opinion and should be willing to argue or agree to disagree. Is a mentality I used to hear a lot back a couple years ago. To answer your question on the smoking thing, though, I've learned that it's just better to not go. If you can go cold turkey and last and stick by it for 2 weeks, those 2 weeks are the hardest things of your life. But those 2 weeks are worth it if you stop quitting forever. If you can't do 2 week cold turkey, because unlike alcohol, right? If you try to cold turkey alcohol, you can actually go into shock and pass away. Um, so with anything with tobacco related, or anything really that's smoke related, even with like marijuana, right? It is just better to like either you go cold turkey straight away, or you just go through like small doses, right? And you trickle down to you just don't have that itch anymore. I know people use vaping as a way, but the problem with vaping is vaping has gone the same way as cigarettes, where they're more or less like if you're vaping, you may as well just smoke a cigarette, and if you're smoking a cigarette, you may as well vape because there's no difference anymore, right? Vaping was designed to help people stop smoking. Nowadays, it's just if you're going to vape, you may as well smoke cigarettes, and if you're going to smoke cigarettes, you may as well vape at this point. And that's just my honest belief. Uh, you know. There we go. Oh, popped my chest out. Sorry for that. So back in the day, I used drugs and went cold turkey, and oof, not a fun time. But now I've been clean for 6 to 7 years. See, that's good. That's always good. Sometimes going cold turkey is a necessity for some people. Um, I've known some people like intense alcoholics that what is it? A lot. I've known like genuine alcoholics and people who were like big time pot smokers, and I tell you what, they'll never they're at a certain point where they can't stop, right? Oh hi Xenon I'm you know what I mean. Um what I was saying, yeah, I've known a lot of heavy pot smokers and a lot of alcoholics that straight up cannot go cold turkey, right? I knew a guy, he was an ex friend of mine. I don't speak to him anymore for a lot of personal reasons. But he still is I think a big time alcoholic, and he cannot quit. But because he was also on pills, those pills more or less like balance out his the alcohol. So even he can keep drinking as much as he want, and as long as he took his pills, they more or less balance him out. Watching the last two episodes of Soprano, so I can't focus on this. Ah, you're good, man. Don't even worry about it. I need to watch the Soprano. Just know I'm here. Thank you for the support. Thank you. I always enjoy the support I get. You should always enjoy whatever support you get, especially early on, because those supports early on is what makes or break the person. Um, Especially when you're just going through hard times, or you're trying to just make a name for yourself and trying to get yourself out there. You always should enjoy the small supports because that is what helps you grow as a person. I'm not sure what we're going to be watching today. I think we're going to do a little 8 login on the LCU. There's a lot of things we can do. What's up, Tyler? Yo, yo, yo. Actually, you know what? I'm not the only one who covered this. I think I'm going to cover her. So if you're not aware of the Dorbs, or particularly Grace Dorbs and her dad, uh, she's committed on suing Keemstar over stuff relating to what Keemstar did. So we are gonna watch some of it, not all of it. Right, we're just gonna talk quite a bit about it because I think it's interesting to see two different locales go at each other's throat and try to sue each other, or at least one is trying to sue each other. Right, you got a small locale, Grace Store, who has she doesn't have the best track record for a multitude of different things. We're gonna let the YouTube spinning wheel go spinny, spinny, spinny. Who, she clearly does not have the best track record with a number of things. And then when we have someone like Keemstar also doesn't have the best track record. I made the point that regardless who wins or loses this case, one of the things that probably still won't change it is the amount of hate both of them get for any amount of reasons. Um, just because like Grace is hated for a whole planet of reason, have created a lot of enemies, compared to Keemstar, who also has created a whole ton of enemies as well. But I think the difference is because Keemstar went out of his way to rehabilitate his character, there's less hate for him than there is now, right? If we were talking about what's up, LBD 2025, hello. Oh yeah, you have 3087 now. Let's go. Holy shit, I really wow. Wow, I should be streaming more now. Thanks everybody for subscribing. Thank you. That makes my day a lot better. I think it was a good idea for me to start streaming again, right? I guess the next goal is 400. What was I saying? Yeah. Um, was it something important you have to understand? Is that rehabilitating your character over a course of period is important if you're trying to capture a new audience of people that don't know about you as much, right? I think the reason why Keemstar is currently not getting a lot of hate, he is getting hate in the sense that he's being made fun of. Thank you for subbing, LBD 2025. To be honest, I haven't been watching much since those two streams. I watched some of the Aspen video and the one about 4chan. The one about 4chan is 4chan saddens me a lot because I used to be a big time 4chan. I used to be a what we used to call it, the Chantar, right? I used to be a big time for. I did share the stream with your friends and coworkers. Thank you so much. That is helpful. Um, really helps. I guess it helps me through the day. 309, ayo. Um, what was I saying? Oh yeah, 4chan. With 4chan, I used to be a big time 4chaner, and seeing 4chan goes down completely does sadden me a lot. At the same time, with 4chan going down, it is the end of the internet. Say Gracie and Ruby Discord are full of haters and bad people. Yeah, yeah, I'm not gonna deny that. If you've never been on Grace server, don't. There's don't. But at the same time, I've spoken to Ruby, and I'm more or less I do like Ruby a lot more than Grace. Grace's attitude is like if you ever watch Grace streams a lot, it just becomes disheartening. Um, Compared to Ruby, where you can see that with Ruby, she's gotten better. Now she does now. To be fair, and this isn't me shit talking Ruby, and it's just me being honest. And anybody can tell you that occasionally Ruby does go a little manic. Um, but she does have real issues, and then she is trying to fix. So you can't really blame her entirely. Like she has issues, but she is willing to fix them, and she is willing to acknowledge those issues. Whereas someone like Grace clearly has issues, but is not willing to do much, right? But yeah, their Discord or something. It's why I don't really talk on a lot of Discords too much anymore. That and like that and like my Discord got flagged a couple weeks ago, so I was like, ooh, ooh. And also the misunderstood Discord, which is Grace other Discord. That was a great time modding that one. But I've learned that the reason why there's a lot of hate or bad people on those servers, it's because it's all the people you attract. It's all about, what is the law of attraction, right? That's what some people, great people on Discord are on Ruby Discord. They troll me. I feel bad for you, man. Shit. I feel bad. If you've been on Link server is really nice. There's a lot of friendly people on Link server if you've never been on there before. I recommend watching Links. For sure, I watch her stuff a lot. She's a cool girl. 10 out of 10. Well, I recommend her a lot. If you've never given her a shot. Oh yeah, back to the attraction, right? It's all about the people you attract at the end of the day and what you're trying to do, right? If you're a shit poster troll, you're gonna attract those kind of people more. And if you're expecting the best people out of people who shit post that's good. You're friends with Links. I'm happy for you. If you're attracting, if you're a troll or a shit poster, you're gonna end up attracting people like that. And a lot of the time, you're not always gonna attract the best people. It's just the truth. It's just the truth. Or if you're somebody that's prone to getting angry or easily trolled, you're gonna get people like that. It's just how things are, right? Given from what I understand about the concept of the law of attraction, right? Or at least I am probably what I'm what I can get from, right? There's probably more to it, and it's a lot more deeper, but I haven't really looked into it too much. Um, I forgot what my point was. Sorry, I went on a tangent. I go on these like deep long tangent, and we don't really get into the video. Um, we're gonna watch this video real fast. So we're gonna watch this. It was a stream a couple days ago, like 3 days ago. Shit.
Platforming and want him to face. Good afternoon, everybody,
Hope you
and
guys can hear
welcome
it.
back to Thorpe TV, Misunderstood, and kick.com/ThorpeTube. My name is Grace Thorpe, and I am multi-streaming today to pretty much all of my platforms because I got some very interesting stuff to talk about, and I want this to be as public as possible. I am going to sue Keemstar.
Like you can hear Ben in the background.
I've made my decision. I've started a GoFundMe, and I'm going to do it. It's my first time suing anybody, but I am going to sue Keemstar, and I believe the legal term for what I'm suing him for is tortious interference. TORTIOUS. Because I have to thank Lynx for dropping the 3-hour phone call she had with Keemstar like a week ago, in which he admits to getting my channels taken down and demonetized personally.
So if you're not aware about the dilemma, but this is why she just can't do nothing. This is why she can't do nothing. Because of Ben, yeah, I think we all can agree. You never know if it is Grace or Ben, though, through Grace talking. Crazy spot. That is a problem, and that guy, you can look at the eyes right now. Jesus Christ, that pause, that pause right there. It's like the fluoride eyes. You know, when you drink too much fluoride, you got that fluoride, the fluoride stare. That's what it's called. That's what it's called, the fluoride stare. Drink the fluoride, soy. Come on, chud. Drink the fluoride. It's good for you, chud. What was I saying? Yeah, see, it is very hard to figure out if it's Ben talking or Grace talking. On one hand, I think you can say a lot of the time, like maybe like 60%, 70% of the time, you can tell when Grace is talking, it's just the same thing that Ben is saying, but in a very Zoomer mindset, right? Very Zoomer-ish, that is meant to appeal to more of a Zoomer audience, right? That or late millennial audience on top of that, right? Because Grace is only like 22, 23, right? She's young enough to be a Zoomer, like early Zoomer, but not old enough to be like a late millennial type of person. With if she was a late millennial, what's the mirror in the background? Oh God, that's even worse. That's even worse. I mean, everybody has said this, right? Everybody has said that Grace doesn't have her own opinion. She's just saying the same thing her dad has said, which is true. And I would even say that, the last couple of weeks, or even like a couple of weeks ago, I think I came to the conclusion that like I don't really have that much sympathy for Grace, and I think I'm not the only one, right? That who feels like that. Because after you watch your third or fourth or fifth struggle session of the same thing that is happening with the same crap that's been going on, you eventually can't just take it anymore, and you just don't feel sympathy. It's like the girl who goes back to the abusive boyfriend over and over and over again. When you tell them and you have multiple recordings and multiple of everything of the abuse happening, and they just don't understand. And at some point, it's there's an opinion that has always been in the back of my mind that has developed a certain period of time, that I feel like at some point when somebody is just going back and just repeatedly doing the same thing, and I don't really like to spout this opinion, but like if you're doing the same thing, you're going back to the same abuser, I don't know, maybe in a way you kind of deserve it. Like it's not the right opinion, it's not a good opinion, but it's something we all think about, right? We all have in the back of our mind, right, when we see the same thing happen. I knew a girl that was like that. She was still with her baby daddy regardless of everything, and she still is with him to this day, right? I have a friend who she went through the same thing with an abusive ex, right? Multiple. And at some point, when do you lose sympathy? When do you stop caring? When you just say, screw it, I don't care anymore about your problem. Take it as it is. You know what? Everybody has been willing to help you, but if you refuse to help, then maybe you do deserve it for you to learn the lesson the hard way. And I don't want to, Ruby made an opinion, right? Of, how this will end, right? I don't agree with that opinion, but I understand her perspective enough where I'm like, I don't see that happening, right? But, I would say how this will end is just Ben would probably go to jail and Grace may just, worst case scenario, Grace can, or I guess maybe best case scenario, should go be sent in a mental ward for a bit of time to get herself back. Because there's only so much you can handle before your mind has broken. And the fact that Grace has been dealing with it for so long, without her mind breaking, it's a shocker. And the whole thing currently with her and Keemstar is like, I'm not the only one who said this, but I don't think she's gonna win.
Under false pretenses. And tortious interference is a legal term, which means attempting to or breaking somebody's contract, somebody's business contract with like between two people, going in between that and lying about one of them in order for the contract to be broken. So I believe I have a solid legal case for that. I have evidence of him admitting to doing this. And Keemstar has no reason, he has no valid reason for interfering with my business contracts with both YouTube and Kick.
So she's referring to the fact that Keemstar admitted to links that he did have some interference or had a hand involved in getting her channel both removed on Kicked and on YouTube. To be fair, I'm not really defending Keemstar, and I won't die on that hill because it's not worth it. She doesn't have a case, in my opinion. She does not have a case. And the reason I don't think so is I think, I'm going to say it. She's done enough, and there's a lot of evidence of stuff they've done on stream, right? Where she should have been taken down, right? She straight up should have been shut down a long time ago. The stuff that happened with Ruby, the stuff with R2 should have been, and I think in a way, like, I think I was talking to Stinky Brew about that. He kind of said it is all about politics in the end of the day, which is true. I think I could agree with him with that. That it is about politics, playing ball, right? Being willing to, throw the dice with the opposition, right? But at the same time, it's like you can't deny that, like, well, she's done a lot. She's broken quote unquote broken TOS and all this different stuff where maybe in a way, like Keemstar saw an opportunity and you two like kind of just folded because, well, like, hey, maybe he does make a good case, so let's just do that. On the other side of Kick, right, he brings up the Kick situation. With again, if you're not aware, believe it or not, because Keem, I believe Keem was talking to one of the CEO of Kick. It wasn't related to Grace originally, but maybe it ended up being related to Grace. Maybe he saw wind of this, saw an opportunity, a weakness on Grace, and then jumped on it because he wanted the CEO of Kick to fight Wings of Redemption a couple weeks ago because Wings and the whole wife thing happened, right? So either A, she didn't saw that stream, and so she's not self-aware of it. What I'm gonna go off with the theory is she didn't see that clip and she didn't know that's what happened. So she assumed the worst. Keemstar saw that, took the opportunity of weakness, and just jumped on it. Which is, it's politics. Game is game, I guess. You sometimes you have to when you want to bring somebody down. Some people don't want to admit that, but it is the truth. And whether or not she has a case, I don't think it matters because at the end of the day, she hasn't raised the money, right? I don't think she raised the money. She wants $10,000. We'll see you later on, actually.
He tries to give reasons in the audio. We'll be going through it. He does not actually have reasons. The one reason he gives for Kick is that he says I was doing illegal stuff in the form of trespassing or going onto private property.
So she's referring to the fact that she went down to Texas, right? Because Keemstar, quote unquote, invited her he really didn't invite her. But there's also evidence to say that Twiggy may have invited her. What sounds like Twiggy. Let's be real. Like, let's be real. That does sound something like Twiggy. Probably realized what he did, and he was like, "Oh crap, she actually is coming down. Maybe I should have not done that." Right? It is what it is. And then she went to the actual property there. There's a recording of her actually going. Now, I work with homes, right? And so a lot of the time we're able to see where the property line and everything is, and what's considered private and what's considered public, right? Um, if I were to assume the driveways, a lot of the time are viewed as part of the private property. Most of the time, if not, I think like 90 or I'm gonna just use a ball. Like I think like around like 70 to 90% of almost every driveway are usually private property. So her driving onto the dirt road will still be sometimes considered as part of the main property of that property. So technically, if he really wanted to, right? If Keemstar really wanted to, he can go to the original owner, or even Grace can go to the owner, maybe, or even go to the public area, right? Ask for the form. I think you could actually look, not even like even go to the city hall or whatever. You can look this up on the internet, right? Where the property line is, right? So if her driving up on the dirt road is part of the private property, which a lot of the time it is, you don't really have a case as you think. Grace is trying to argue a legal technical, whatever. Oh my God, Grace is trying to argue a legal technicality, but the case depends on if Keem had a reasonable justification for reporting her. I mean, if he really wanted to, he can extend it as far with the Ruby situation in RTU if he really wanted to, because Keemstar doesn't live in the same state as RTU. So if Keemstar really, really wanted to push it, he could bring RTU onto the case, and RTU can argue against Grace if they really wanted to, right? If Keemstar really wanted to do that, he could. Also, because Keemstar has more money than Grace, he can afford some of the best lawyers. I said it to Ruby on live that if Keemstar wanted to, he can afford some of the best lawyers in New York, right? Meaning that and he can drag this out as long as he can, and Grace can't. They have limited funds, right? And Keemstar has infinite money by their standards, right? So if Keemstar wanted to, he can just drag this out. He can lose $1 million and wouldn't really mean much, right? And Grace will be $1 million in debt. And what then? You have nothing. Like, go ahead. You can try to sue him. Maybe you can get him on a small court, but even then, I'm not even sure.
I rode my bike onto a driveway on Kick. That was the closest I ever came to private property. That's a gray area. A driveway is considered curtilage. It's not private property necessarily, and it's.
I think that depends on municipality, county, and state, and how they interpret private property and driveway. A lot of the time, unless you're a state worker or some type of person like that, I know state worker can still could drive on something like that. But a lot of the time, if the owners come in and see you do that, they could ask you to leave, and you have to leave. So, you know what I mean. Like the fact that you went onto it, they could ask you to leave, and you will have to leave. And if they really wanted to push it, they can say it's trespassing. But again, you have to look into municipalities, right? You have to look at the laws in that area and what they consider what's considered private, particularly with driveways and dirt roads, right? Because dirt roads can be viewed as private property as well. It all depends on the line, especially within like small community places. I think Ben kind of sabotaged the fundraising by suggesting some of the cash could go to paying Ben for legal research. It's always, no matter what's gonna happen, they're their biggest enemies. Bennett's gonna sell sabotages, right? And then they're gonna have a big ass struggle session, right? Right now, Bennett's going through a divorce that he's probably gonna lose, and I think he is willing to lose regardless, which is crazy, right? They supposedly sold golden coins, right? Which is like, I think, if you're doing that, I think I don't know if you can get busted for that. But again, we'll have to wait and see because with Ben is his biggest enemy.
me as a trespassing. That's the one reason he gave for why he tried to get my Kick and YouTube channels taken down. The other reasons he gave, that's the only you could consider semi-valid reason. The other things he said,
Is it a reason or is it not a
that
reason?
my dad said that Lolcow Live was going down and that I was going to take them down through stream sniping them. And so that was the other reason why my channels got taken down.
You kind of did say something like that. And we'll look at some locale line number before the stream is over because I think those numbers are really interesting to look at.
Which is not a valid reason. That is straight up tortious interference. You don't like what I'm saying about you or your business, so you interfere with my contract with YouTube and Kick in order to take my livelihood away. I'm going to sue you for that. And I'm excited. I'm a little nervous, but I'm excited. I think it's going to be fun. I think he's going to eat shit. He should not have said that to Lynx. He really should not have. And I already have everything screen recorded and downloaded and clipped. And Lynx herself even DM'd me and said, I'm glad I asked him about why if he got your channels banned. So I appreciate it. Lynx, cheers. Whatever shit she may have talked about me, she's a girl's girl at the end of the day because, bitch, I'm getting my bag. I'm going to get my bag.
You gotta love her you gotta love her confidence a lot of the time. I don't, I think I'm not the only one who said this, but, when the lawsuit backfire on her and she has to pay, a shit ton of money, that smile is gonna turn into a frown.
Do you know?
Hate to say it, but it's true.
The combined, cost this man has, the combined amount of money this man has cost me in terms of public reputation, slander, including in this call because he's saying it to a third party, slander, tortious interference. I haven't been able to make money on YouTube for several months. I was making $3K a month per channel. Do you know how much that is, Keemstar?
Hold up. So remember during the Lynx situation when Lynx released her stuff on Patreon and she straight up said $3,000 isn't nothing, but now she's saying $3,000 is something. So what is it, great? It's 3,000 something or 3,000 nothing? Because that's actually it's important. You can't just say one isn't important when you're fighting against somebody and then just backtrack that later on. Also, the money she quote unquote lost, it's how much did you technically lose? Because we do know that you're getting a lot of money from a lot of your fans, right? It's and we all know who they are. So, the court is gonna have to ask for seats. They're gonna actually have to ask for numbers and if they go through your Cash App or your PayPal, right, they're gonna have to look at them. They're gonna be like, well, you're still getting quite a bit of money, right? You weren't getting as much money, but you were still getting money. So well, so what is it? Is it not, or is it? Pick one.
Do you know how much that is? Plus a week suspension on Kick when I was making $2,500 a week, so that's $2,500 right there. Now, have I?
$2,500 a week is pretty good, but this is the same chick that again.
Looked at all the numbers yet? No. Have I worked everything out yet? No. This literally, as soon as I woke up, I checked my DMs and they're like, Keem admitted to getting your channels banned. And I'm like, oh, okay. Really? That seems really stupid because that's obviously something I can sue him for. And then I watched the clips and I'm like, holy shit. That's literally what he did. So I do have a GoFundMe pinned in the YouTube chat and in the Kick chat. We can go over it together. It's pretty basic right now. I set it up just to get something out there. We can go over it together. We haven't hit any of the goal yet. Nobody's donated yet, but we'll get it out there. I've contacted several big creators about this and posted it to Twitter.
Several big
creators. Let me just bring it up.
Several.
I think this would be the easiest way to introduce exactly what I'm doing here. And I hope Lynx takes my lead here, because Lynx
straight up says he won't take your lead, and she called you out on this a number of times. So I kind of like how she's throwing in Lynx, even though Lynx doesn't want to be involved in any of this. It's like you really like to push that you want other people to involve in this stuff when they straight up said they don't. Especially right, after you have history, let's be fair, she has a history of dogging people who supported her, right? She burned the bridge multiple times with links, even if she wanted to. I really doubt she wanted to get involved. Like, you gotta have to be self-aware. You can't keep burning the bridge every single time and then expect people to join you just because you think you
Also
have
has
a
a case
chance
for
of
sexual
making
harassment
money.
and abuse in the workplace. From Keemstar, she doesn't seem to think so. I told her about it, and she said, I don't really think I have a case. I think she's wrong, but she can take my lead or not. Now, this is a stupid picture. I had to choose a picture to put for it, so I'm going to work on it later. It's it's just a picture of me looking vaguely distressed. So it says, help me sue Keemstar for deplatforming. I could also write tortious interference, but it's too long for a title, so we can think about different types of titles. I like the picture you used. Thank you, East Coast. So this is what I wrote, and I really think this is my main focus of the stream today.
On StreamYard?
Yeah. So I wrote, my name is Grace Thorpe. Wait, can you guys see this on stream? Yeah. My name is Grace Thorpe. I'm a small YouTube/Kick streamer with my dad. I was previously employed by Keemstar on his show Lolcow Queens. Keemstar admitted in a leaked audio recording to getting both my YouTube and Kick channels taken down. He has cost me months of revenue on YouTube and a 1 week loss of revenue due to a Kick suspension. I will be suing him for tortious interference in New York. I encourage the other employees of Lolcow Live to join me in suing this man for his abuse and illegal workplace treatment. I truly ask for your support. I wrote this in 2 seconds, by the way. Truly ask for your support. Whatever, it's kind of awkward, but I truly ask for your support as streaming is my livelihood, and Keemstar is currently threatening to take my channels down again. They have to go. That's a very important part. That's a very important point of this. The reason why this is especially important for me to do now is because he said in the leaked audio, when Lynx made him aware, when Lynx made Keemstar aware that I had gotten my Kick channel back and misunderstood, he said, they might have to go. That's what he said. So he is actively planning on continuing to attack my channels and take them down. And we'll go through that audio. But this is a current threat to my actual livelihood and income, which is why this is so important to do. It genuinely is. It's still echoing because your mic is picking it up?
My mic's off.
Oh, okay. This is my first time suing anyone. I'm nervous but confident in the support of my fans and other creators who have seen Keemstar's rampage of deplatforming and want him to face consequences for his actions. Thank you for reading, and if you can't support monetarily, I would very much appreciate you sharing this through social media to get the word out. God bless. The money raised will be used for legal expenses during this process. I will document the entire process on my YouTube and Kick channels.
I'm
So,
going to send the audio to Everton, which you then should be able to put somewhere.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
sure. So that's the GoFundMe. That's just a little intro. It is pinned if you'd like to donate to the cause. I would like to see this fucker go down, sincerely.
You got to turn it on.
Okay, one sec.
See, one of the issue is that if this was 2016, 2017, I think there would be a lot more support for her. That isn't the case anymore. As I said before early on the stream, Keemstar has rehabilitated his character enough to the point where he can kind of get away with almost anything nowadays, right? He can get away with it. Also, because of that rehabilitation, it makes people less likely to hate Keemstar compared to when it was 2016, especially at a time where people were like iDub, Ethan Klein, a whole bunch of YouTubers back then were covering it and just dunking on Keemstar. That time has gone. That time doesn't exist anymore. If this was that period of time, Grace probably would have won the lawsuit. It would have been a big thing back then. Not anymore. Just because of how things have shifted, right? iDub is now a joke, and he's fighting against Ethan Klein, right? I know the under grade age doesn't care about this stuff anymore, right? Most people who would dunk on him just don't. Those YouTubers are now friends with Keemstar, and they just don't care anymore. So your chance of winning against them is less likely, right? And even if you can get people rallying behind you, it still isn't enough, you know. And because there's so much disdain towards you, right? As I said before, there's more hate for Grace than there is for Keemstar, even though Keemstar is the bigger name. That does play a lot of factor in sympathizing with people. And, that's what happens when you burn bridges and treat people like total crap. You gotta always treat people nice, even if you gotta pretend it or fake it, right? Like the LCU, you can tell a lot of the time those people do fake being nice, but it's enough still for the average person. And that's generally what people want. People want to be treated nice.
Dude is such a hypocrite for this. I mean, when I heard the audio, and we're going to go through that together in a second. When I heard this audio from him, it genuinely like filled me with both excitement because I was like, oh, I've got him now, but also like just so much anger. It's crazy. Like The gall on this guy to say, to admit to taking
Of this guy.
the gall of this guy to say, it's still echoing.
It's not. It's trying to connect to the embers.
Oh.
Maybe bring it.
Try it now. The gall of this guy to say, to admit. Sorry about that. No, I just turned it all the way off. It's fine. To admit to taking my channels down. And then when Link says, they're back up, to say, oh, they're going to need to go, is crazy. That's crazy, dog. That's crazy. And I don't know if I can do anything regarding that except to make this as public as possible and to inform like YouTube and Kick, like this guy is actively saying he's going to try to take my channels down for spite, for revenge, because he doesn't like my criticisms of him, not because I've done anything wrong. He's actively saying that he's going to.
JB, it's not that it's about criticism. I think it's just more. I wouldn't say it'd be criticism. I think it's not really about criticism. It's just more the shit you've done. Like, come on, you tried to ape the misunderstand. Like what? Lockout Reject, right? You were trying to make the case that it was you had Keemstar blessing and approval, and then he came out and said, like, no, that's a total lie. And even you admitted that it was a lie, right? You did a lot of not so good thing with people like Ruby and RTU, right? And you burned the bridge with multiple people. There's, he has more of a case than you do. Just saying.
To do everything he can to deplatform me. And it also vindicates me because when I got the YouTube taken down, when I got demonetized, when I got Kick taken down, people were like, oh, it's not, it's, some people believed me, but a lot of people were like, oh, it's probably not Keemstar. Like, you're just scapegoating him. You don't have any evidence.
Does she not have headphones? Holy shit, woman. Holy shit. Do you not have headphones?
Would you want to go to the RV and play the iPad or?
Grace.
Yeah.
The problem is the Emberton?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You can have the Emberton play somewhere where no one can hear it.
Right, but I turned the audio all the way down, so it shouldn't matter, and it still like restarted and played it like super loud. So if it does that again in the bathroom, I'm gonna have to turn it off. It's just, I don't know, it's not working. You want to try it again? All right, I'll turn it on, and then I'll turn it down. Okay, now reconnect. I'll put it in the bathroom. Is it connected? All right, and now I'll go put it in the bathroom. And that should fix the audio problem.
It should fix the audio. Is it go? For a second, I see it was in the bathroom.
StreamYard is not good if you're running multiple electronics nearby. Oh, maybe that's true. I didn't know that. So without further ado, let's get into the audio leaks. See, it just, is it turned all the way down? Because now, see, it's in the bathroom and it's still doing this. Oh, okay. Nope, still loud. All right, let me see if I can turn it down. I did already. Okay, I turned it all the way down again, but it keeps weirdly resetting, so hopefully that fixes that.
Why is he like this? Why is he like this, ladies?
Sorry about the audio. Okay, so what about Link saying you admitted to doing things with Ben like 10 minutes before Keem said he got your channel taken down? I actually, she DM'd me after she released that. And I asked her, like, I'd appreciate if you could take that back, because, of course, I never told you that I do. It just started again. I can't do this. I don't know why it's doing that, but do you keep rejoining the StreamYard or something?
It's just, I don't know, it's reinitiated.
Why are they like this? Why are they like this?
Okay, thank you. Hey!
What
AirPods, yeah. Hey, we just got $5. Thank you. Thank you to the donator. We got $5 towards our suing Keemstar goal. How do I tell who donated? Let's see here.
Should be $5.
Anonymous, $5. Thank you.
$5.
Thank you to the anonymous donator. Let's go. I raised $5K in 2 weeks to go to Fat Camp. I'm pretty sure I can raise $10K to sue this fucker. That was me. Thank you, Distinction.
I think there's a difference between rating 5K and 10K. I think the people who raised 5K really wanted to see you mess with Keemstar, but at the same time you did kind of backpedal, right? You kind of did and didn't, right? You kind of hesitated at one point, so there's that. But also I think the difference was people wanted to see you mess with Keemstar, even though if even if you didn't do it, people wouldn't have not carried away because they wouldn't have not assumed much out of you. But in terms of a legal issue, there's less people, plus the amount of money that people have to be willing to donate, which is 10K for a legal issue. Because also, mind you, I think later on she admits to use Grok as a as a way to help her, and I got really mad and frustrated. Is why are you using Grok? Why? You can ask a legal consultant, right, about this. It's not hard, damn it. And Dan made a good point. It's like, what do you expect from her? I'm like, yeah, good point. I should have not expect anything, but I did. That's why. Why am I like this? Drinking that Mexican Coke. That's the good stuff.
So, as far as links goes, I asked her to retract that because I obviously never told her that. And if I was gonna tell somebody like private sexual details about my life, it wouldn't be links. I think I've had one private phone call with her in the Local Live Discord when I was first hired for Queens. So I asked her if she could take that back.
Unlike Keem, you wouldn't share that with someone who's known to.
Yeah, unlike Keem, I wouldn't talk about like private sexual stuff that might embarrass me with somebody who's to a legally retarded person who's literally known for leaking.
Mine just has a lot of weird stuff on stream, so it's kind of like pot calling the kettle black. Sort of similar to Ethan versus I with the IW versus H3 stuff that's going on right now. The pedal calling the kettle black.
And recording everything. That would be stupid, and I'm not that stupid.
Yes, you are.
But I asked her to retract that, and she said, "Oh, what did I say?" And I said, "You said that I told you I have sex with my dad occasionally, like LMAO." And she said, "Oh, I'm just too like legally."
I mean, it doesn't help that I think there's enough stuff to point towards that direction. When this question is, but I would say like a couple weeks ago, maybe like 2 or 3 months ago. I think I was asked this question by a bunch of people whether or not do I think Grace is, do I think Grace is smashing her dad? I said no back then, and as time goes on, I am coming to sort of the conclusion that I think it's more real than we think it is. Because I think everybody first realized, okay, come on, it's just a troll. It's just a prank, bro. It's just a prank. And then eventually it kind of evolves to maybe there's some truth, maybe they go a little too far, but it's just whatever, right? It's just whatever. And then it gets to a certain point where you start to see people talk about it. You see some stuff that points towards it, some really questionable videos, and then you're like, maybe it's sort of true, but like I'm like 50-50 or like 70-30, right? Or 70-20, and then it gets to the final point where you kind of accept maybe they are doing it, maybe they are fucking, and if they are, that's illegal, right? And I believe in most states, right, in the USA, it's illegal to having sexual relationship. That's what happened with oh my god, Chris Chan, right? Uh, you know, and it's sort of, it's not that it's hard to talk about, it's just disturbing because you're seeing them you're seeing them when they're not doing stuff, and they're always recording their life. They're doing like 5 hour long stream, 8 hours long stream. So when they're not there, what are they doing behind the scenes? I'm not the
I'm too
only one
retarded
who
to know what I'm doing, since that's how you want to paint me. And I was like, okay, I mean, I believe you have fetal alcohol and you're legally considered retarded and you have some cognitive functioning.
See, yeah, she's trying to play the whole retarded game. She's constantly have trying to, she went with the whole grifting the links is retarded, which is like, from what I understand with the legal term of retardation with a lot of people, it's a lot more complex, and I think there's a lot more nuance when you have officials doing that and giving that out. It isn't like, somebody who's like has like genuine Down syndrome or who are actually retardation, right? To some extent, I believe autism is still. I don't know if autism or Asperger or stuff like that are still considered retardation. Somebody can correct me on that front.
Difficulties. Sorry. And she goes, what she said exactly. She said, it does, yes, impair her cognitively. And I've proven I've had it. However, you're laying it on very thick. So, I mean, I guess she said that because she's mad that I have been saying that she's retarded, even though that's what she says. Like, legally, she's retarded. Anyways, it's not really worth getting into. I'm not really mad at her. It's like, you know, it's like, for me, the way I see it is like, she's talking shit about me to get him to talk about what he did. So I don't really hold it against her.
Okay.
It's like if you're talking to a terrorist and you're like a CIA.
I mean, you keep bringing up this retardation, especially on X, so I guess you are holding it, personal. Come on! Don't lie to us, right? Like what? Like 2 days ago or a day ago, right? Links literally called you out and called you like the disgusting being. Come on, stop. Now, and mind you, this was like 3 days ago, so the timeline is moving so fast to the point where sometimes it's impossible to keep up with this stuff. Sometimes it's literally impossible to keep up with all the stuff that's going on because there's so many moving parts, there's so many moving people, right? That at some point that like it's almost impossible to keep it up.
CIA agent.
So it's hard to tell
And you're like,
what.
Yeah, fuck America. Like, we should definitely bomb it. So, like, what kind of bombs do you have? You know what I mean?
What?
She's a girl's girl at the end of the day.
Ready to say hi to American Dream?
Hi, American Dream. Yes, thank you.
What
Support
even
Philly
is a
Thorpe.
girl
Dad, your
girl?
iPad
Like,
camera just keeps turning on and off. Could you just turn it off just so it doesn't keep flashing?
I keep trying to come on, you mean?
No, just your camera keeps flashing. If you could just turn, like, just stop cam or whatever.
Flashing? I don't know what that means.
So your camera's flashing backstage. If you could just press stop cam. There we go. Perfect.
Why is he in backstage?
Okay, so let's go over the
No,
leaks.
that's the real question.
I don't.
Wait. Why does he need to be backstage if he's there physically? Like, I don't get that. Like, if he doesn't need to talk, it doesn't need to be in backstage. He can just literally walk over unless he's that lazy of a fuck. What? What bullshit is this, woman?
It's negligible, yeah. Okay, so let's see here. All right, I believe it starts at 48 in this video. Keemstar caught being a perv for 3 straight hours, which is the full call that Link's released. I'm pretty sure it starts at 48:17. This is juicy, guys. This is some good stuff. I mean, it's awful what he's saying, but this is great for me. This is my whole case right here, and I am serious about this. He totally set himself up. What we do with the money if you end up not suing Keemstar? Well, if I don't do any of what I'm saying, GoFundMe will label it as a fraud, and you'll get all of your money back. So you can rest assured with that. But I will sue him, so you don't need to worry about it.
You're gonna have to run on a campaign.
So you later on went on Ethan Klein. They made a not Ethan Klein. They went on the kill stream with Ralph. Ethan with Ralph, and they made a bet about this.
A campaign.
So that should give you inkling of what's going on.
A very long time. It's gonna take a long time. You've been running a negative campaign for what? How long? Like 3 months? 2 months?
I think it's been like 2 months, yeah. To be fair, I don't do that much lolcow content anymore. I normally just
Hold on a second. I'm gonna turn this up. I'm gonna turn my loudness thing up.
do paint streams every day.
Yeah, but the interactions with Grace are like fucking insanity.
Well, I won't be interacting with her. Like I said, I left stream yesterday because I brought her on.
What? Explain that to me. What's that story?
So they were talking about the Lalo Grace situation, and I left the stream because they had Grace come up, and then they brought that Hormaxer dude up, and I left the stream.
The Link's part of this is not really important, but if she's talking about the stream that was on Ruby's channel with Lalo, Link's certainly did not leave when I came up. She stayed there for the entire time I was there. So
I think they're referring to a different stream, not that stream, but I could be wrong. I mean, how can you not say the Link stuff is important when you're trying to give her credit for? I don't fucking understand people.
She may have left when Hormaxer came up, but anyways, it's just like that's just a flat out lie, but whatever, not a big deal.
I said I'm not interacting with this, and then I left the stream. The
You still can't hear it.
stream ended up getting deleted, but it was on Ava's channel. They had to delete it because Hormaxer said some.
Who the fuck is Ava?
Ava is one of the like Thor detractor people.
Can you hear it okay? Because this is the most important part. Can you guys hear it okay? Your GoFundMe is up to 115. Really? Hey,
Yeah, people
oh,
were.
that's great. Oh
Yeah,
my
people
god,
too.
215 raised. Anonymous 100.
Yeah, so people were donating that. I don't get it. I don't know.
$100 anonymous $100.
Maybe I'm the crazy one,
Let's
guys.
fucking go. Let's fucking go. Thank you guys so much. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's
Thank
fucking
you,
go.
thank you.
Let's go. W's in the chat. We're gonna take him for everything he's got. For what he did to me, legally, of course. That's great. That really makes me feel like confident in this. Thank you guys. Thank you to the people who donated. Let's fucking go.
Okay. So where does Grace even stream now?
She got misunderstood and kicked back, so
Oh, she got kicked back.
yeah, as of today, I think, or yesterday.
Yeah, turn your mic on just so while you're talking. All right, Dad wants to point something out.
Okay, this guy's such a fucking liar. Okay, where does Grace even stream now? And then later on, you quote me, an exact quote from our recent stream.
Yeah, that is true.
Liar.
He is a liar. He's a meat watcher. He's 100% a meat watcher.
Liar. You're
Bro,
sitting there.
where does Grace even stream? I like never see her anymore.
You're sitting there on the edge of your seat, watching every fucking second, licking it up, while your dog gets run over on the highway. You are absolutely.
Damn, that's kind of messed up to just bring that up. Wow, you gotta, it's one thing you point out like, oh yeah, he's a liar and a hypocrite, and then throw in the dog thing. Like, you're not making your case any better for people to like you. Or just like, unless that's the point, you just don't care if people like you. But then you go out of your way to do. Guys, am I going crazy? I think I'm the crazy one.
Obsessed,
yeah,
dude.
I am the
Rent
crazy one.
free. And you know what else is going to be rent free? You know what else is going to be rent free, Grace?
What?
When we are living in his house. I'm serious.
I know.
That's his asset. I'm saying I love it.
Yeah.
That's
We
not
got
his
the
only
four-
asset. I like. You gotta love the confidence in these people. You gotta love when a locale has a lot of confidence in themselves and they think they have the hand. Like some type of like super villain, like, aha, I finally got you, Superman. I have the advantage. I have the high ground. That's what I sound like.
We get the four-wheeler. We get the little motorbikes. We get the pool table. We got the bar.
If they get a house like that, that house is gonna be complete trash by the end of the year, and they're gonna try to sell it because they realize they don't have the money to maintain a house with that much expense and the taxes. It's one thing to be confident and be proud of yourself. It's another thing to be prideful and not be self-aware. You could be prideful and be self-aware. Then you could be and then you got pridefulness without the self-awareness.
It's loaded, brother. We should take a tour sometime.
Loaded, brother.
That's going to be yours, and it's going to be rent free.
What does that even mean, rent free?
Don't worry about doing any maintenance. We'll catch up on the maintenance.
No, you won't. You barely keep your
Yeah, she
truck
got both her
functioning.
channels back and
You can't say that where Grace barely looks hot, right? And Ben, you're like in your 60s, unhealthy, on the verge of death.
Thorpe TV and misunderstood.
Grace.
Yeah.
Christina from Flint. You can't live in his house. You're both much taller than him, and you'll have to scrunch down. We'll make it work. We'll make it work.
Yeah, we're not set for the known capacity.
There's no way.
You really are serious about this. Keemstar is going down. I am 100% serious about this. It's honestly, it's not even a question for me. This is.
Oh, listen to this one, Candy World.
It's not
He's gonna put
even a
everything in Brantley's name
question.
before you sue, unfortunately. I do not think so. You don't trust that
married
bitch.
to her. You think he's gonna put something in her name? Keem admitted to Links that he's the one who took my stuff down. Yes, both YouTube and Kick. And he also said that, like, currently, well, you'll hear it. This is the most important part. Pay attention to this part.
Situation, and I left the stream because they had Grace come up, and then they brought that Hormaxer dude up, and I left the stream. I said I'm not interacting with this, and then I left the stream. The stream ended up getting deleted, but it was on Ava's channel. They had to delete it because Hormaxer said some.
Who the fuck is Ava?
Ava is one of the like Thor detractor people.
Okay. So what does Grace even stream now?
She got misunderstood and kicked back, so
Oh, she got kicked back.
yeah, as of today, I think, or yesterday.
And she got the YouTube channel Misunderstood back?
Yeah, she got both her channels back and remonetized Thorpe TV and Misunderstood.
There's no way.
I swear to God.
That's wild.
That's wild.
They might have to go.
Right there. They might have to go. Right there. I don't know what I can do about that, but right there he says, well, they might have to go. You might have to go, Keem. It's time for you to be fucking exposed for the deplatforming scumbag that you are. That is not even the tortious interference. That's a side point that he's actively threatening to take my channels down. That's a side point. That's not the tortious interference. That's just a side point.
I like to also know that being on YouTube for such a long period of time, especially as somebody who wants different communities, that's a very common phrase that people say, I'm taking your channel down one way or another. That's very common. And, that, you know, we've seen different results of that type of comment in the past. Like, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, like, hell, I mean, like, Grace has said something similar like that towards Ruby and Ava, so it's like, I guess in a way it's your own medicine coming back to you, right? I could be wrong. We're gonna change it up just a little bit from here. I think that's what I wanted to cover for that part. Now I do wanted to cover some stuff with Locale Live with their little stream they had yesterday. So if you're not aware, Locale Live did a whole audition yesterday.
To breathe.
And I want to cover it because I'm not going to cover the whole audition. I'm just going to cover really more the end segment of it, where you can just kind of tell Keemstar is sick and tired of everything. We're going to cover that just a little bit. Probably going to make this close to a 2-hour stream regardless.
Nerds needs a complete rework. Nerds is trash. There's nothing nerds about it. Rewind's a good show. Ozzy's a nice chill. Milkers is whiny. Locale Cafe is pretty nice. They're chill in the morning.
You got a webcam and a computer by chance?
I have a computer. Right now it is under insurance. I'm getting my vaporizer changed.
Okay.
Or my vaporizer chamber, yeah. And then I have a Shure mic as well, but my buddy's using that right now to record.
Interesting. I want to see you call back in with another setup. So get
Yes, sir.
Get that set up. All right. I'm good.
Yeah,
wait. I gotta talk to this person.
Sly little fox.
I gotta talk to this person real quick while we have time. All right. So what's the deal with Fatty? Turn your mic on.
Hey, can you hear me?
Or your camera.
You turn my camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I can. So you had Eric on here earlier, right?
Eric who?
Remember Eric? No, okay. Eric was on here earlier. Eric is live or whatever. So he was one of his bitch mods that lasted for 2 weeks. So I was one of Airsoft's main mods. I bought him his computer. I have all the receipts, everything like that. I can show you a bunch of shit where the downside of Airsoft. So if you want to do something, we want to talk, I'd love to get with you where we can talk about where Airsoft went from his shit previously, and then he went to his new manager, trafficking drugs and his bullshit that he's in now, and then the all receipts of all his stuff.
So
I'm actually in servers with multiple of the mods. We can meet and discuss all that.
Hello. So wait, you're trying to tell me that Fatty is in trouble and he sells drugs now?
Not as much anymore, but his manager was using his accounts to traffic, launder money for him for drugs.
Is that why Fatty didn't have any money? Because Fatty's like broke and it makes no sense.
I literally have videos of him meeting me. I have a fucking full force tattoo on my fucking leg.
Japanese
I was his main mod.
$19.99. F ***** that guy. Nerds is actually good now. Let Zay and Buff cook.
All right, we'll get up with you later.
Glammy.
Guys, Nerds is horrible. The viewership keeps going down and down and down and down. Today, they couldn't break 400 viewers. So anyone saying Nerds is good, no, it's not. The numbers are literally telling you that it is horrible and nobody is watching. So
he's not wrong. When that was happening, right, that stream was technically Monday, so it was yesterday. The Nerds number were down, worse than they were before. I think we're going to actually look at those numbers. We are going to actually look at those numbers actually right now. I did a video probably like 2 days ago, looking at those, looking at the numbers at Locale Live and particularly Locale Queens, and we were comparing the numbers between the two, and how there's been a sharp decrease. Was it Salsa Blade I was thinking of? I don't know if Salsa Blade's gonna actually give me what I want. I don't believe it is. What's the other one? Salsa Blade and oh my god, I can't even think, guys. What the hell's with me today? I'll look at it real fast. I have it on I have someone right here. What's I doing? Where are you? Here it is. Should have it here now. Playboard. Playboard is what I was looking at. Now I'm not sure how accurate Playboard numbers are. Compared to the other channels, or compared to other websites that can probably look into it even better than I can. Let's see if we can find Locale Nerds. If we can find it. If we can even find it. I know I'm not showing anything right now. I'm just I just want to get everything up and running. So when we do look at those numbers, we have a better idea of what we're working with. Right, that's what I want to do. Because everybody likes numbers. Everybody like looking at stuff, right? We all like. I like how we. Queens. Like you can find Queens in live. You can't find. Hold up. Okay, I found Rewind. Now I have to look for the other. Oh, found Nerd. We're gonna look at a. We're gonna look at a whole heap of numbers across the board among those channels, right? Because I think it's only fair. Also, look, we found links. Pretty cool. Only if I can find cafe, but I can't find cafe at all. Oh, they give me errors. You have exceeded the free use limit. Oh no, oh no. I mean, it doesn't matter. We need nerds anyway. Nerds is the one we need the most, regardless, just so we can have a better idea of what we're looking at. Oh, crap. Sorry. One more. Let me see if I can find the other channels before we do anything. Again, sorry if I'm not showing anything. I just want to get everything ready, so we're not like why can I not think right now? I could find Ruby links. You could probably find Grace. Now I'm not sure Playboard is the best one to use for this kind of stuff. If there's a better website I can look into where I don't have to pay just to look at numbers, that would be helpful. But we're gonna look at a bunch of numbers just because I think it's pretty cool. Now, do I have this how I want it? No, I do not. I am a professional. No, what the hold up, guys. Let me do something important. Let me do this in real time. I gotta shows how long I haven't been streaming for a while. Okay, we're just going to mess with some stuff. There we go. There we go. So obviously, what we're gonna look at from what Keemstar has said, there's been a bit of a decline, right? So obviously Local's numbers are not looking the best, right? You can tell just by the average viewership, comment rating, and everything. Like rate are low as usual. Yesterday revenue, right? Yesterday's stream only made $689, right? We're gonna look at their live numbers because I think that's more interesting. With yesterday live numbers, that's not what I'm looking for. Is it views? No, that's views. Damn it. Okay. All right. So don't believe these numbers because they admitted they were getting botted, but the numbers were like around 4,000. That's what their usual numbers were yesterday. Obviously, we're not gonna look at rewind particularly because we really don't care about for rewind too much. We're only gonna look at nerd. We're only gonna really look at milker, and then do I not have queens? Okay, we have queens. We don't really care for. I'm so tired of hearing about Keem and his boring ass shows. Oh, hey, Dancing of the Sun. I've seen you before in Ruby show. They are boring, but I think there's just something about covering them because just how often they lie, and as well of like, you know, a lot of people think they're on downward trend, which is sort of true. I just like covering them because it gives me an excuse to kind of just have big brain energy throughout the day, and they're easy to cover. This is how this channel grew anyway. Like, so for me to not covering them kind of feels like you know, what am I doing? The channel was sort of built around covering local stuff. It's like I like local live. Local live can be entertaining when it could be. It's just currently right now it's just not the best. It really isn't the best. Now obviously he mentioned that local nerd numbers were going down and their numbers have been going down, which is funny because they have a tendency to make fun of catfish Spud watches, so we don't have to. Yeah. I am the poor bastard that has to sit through and watch all of their crap. I'm not judging you. They're just trying to. They're training so it's smart to cover them. It's not even that. It's not even just about covering them. It's just there's so much shit, as in not shit like, oh, there's so much stuff to cover. It's just there's so much of the monotonous stuff just to get through the good stuff. There's not a lot of people that are willingly committing themselves to like go through and collect the information and everything. I feel like in a way I should get paid for it, but that's I'm not gonna worry about that because, like, you know, there's just so much to it, right? And sometimes it gets to a certain point where it's just repetitive nonsense, and you're like, man, I could be doing something else. Local Queen started off good, but has lost steam. They need a third person. Just don't let the shit rise your Corso level, bro. No. I do other things on the side to keep my brain occupied. After this stream, I'm probably gonna go to the gym, work out for quite a bit of time, and, you know, probably enjoy myself. That's what and, you know, probably later on the day, probably build some Gunpla, play some Call of Duty, do other shit to keep my brain occupied. Cause you know, you gotta do more every single day to not let this get to you because it can become a nuisance. It can become a problem. All right, what are we looking at? Thanks everybody for watching. Thank you. Maybe I should become a VTuber. Trigger man. Alright, so what were we looking at numbers? So Keemstar mentioned that local nerd numbers have been on a downward trend, and that has been the case. So a month ago, right? So this is around a little bit after Fat Camp, and you can tell that their numbers have been going down steadily, right? Where you look at, let's say, Queens, right? We're gonna look at Queens number. Queens numbers are what I would consider not increasing but not decreasing in a very much stagnant pattern, whereas in nerd has not experienced that stagnation, which is not always a bad thing, right? Sometimes, certain situations, stagnation is not a bad thing. If you can keep consistent numbers, that's not a bad thing. Consistency is a good thing. But when you're getting numbers like these every stream, it does not help. And it doesn't help that they are streaming every single day. Keem even mentioned that they stream every single day. Do you think Keem and Boogie was really sick yesterday on stream? Possibly Boogie, because you could kind of tell that he was extremely tired and he was up for such a long period of time. If you, especially first up, Boogie is unhealthy as hell. He's fat as fuck. Probably doesn't exercise or move. Doesn't eat the best, right? And is on medication that is meant to make him lose weight. Plus, he's streaming every single day, and he didn't get any sleep during that whole night, so he probably got sick. There's a lot of things that, yeah, he was probably sick. He's a fat guy. He did puke. That's what I mean. He is an unhealthy fat guy, so he probably did get sick. Now, Keemstar, it's whatever. If he was sick, he wasn't sick. He kind of looked like he was, but don't hold me to that. But then again, he is a busy guy throughout his day, so he probably doesn't get a lot of sleep. And, he has to stay up most of the days, most of the time, just watching these streams. So it does get, that does affect somebody's health quite a bit. That does affect somebody's mental health. That's why, I think it was like 2 weeks ago, I took like 4 or 5 days off of covering Local Live because it was just, there wasn't really much going on, and on top of that, it was like my health started to affect me. So there's that, there's that. But still, he didn't have to show it on cam. That what growth. It was gross, but to them it's content. Everything is content, right? Everything is content to them. All right, just an opinion. So the numbers we're looking at for Nerd, yeah. So like a month ago, right? Their numbers were pretty good, right? And mind you, Nerd has a subscriber base of 4,500, and they're getting around this kind of number is pretty good, no matter how much. Even if Nerd does suck, these kind of numbers are really good for a channel of 4,500, right? That is a number that most people who have 100,000 don't even get. I've seen channel who are 100,000 and don't even get these kind of numbers sometimes, right? Right? Hell, when you look at Queens has 24. We're gonna round up Queens' numbers to 2,500, and they're getting numbers like these. Now, mind you, these were a month ago, right after Fat Camp and right after Becky came back. So these kind of numbers are really, really good. And most YouTubers who have hundreds of thousands of subscribers don't even get this kind of number for this kind of sub base. They just don't. Same thing with Nerds, right? And then let's look at this. Like 2 weeks ago, Nerds were getting these kind of numbers, right? Nerds were getting these numbers. And these are really, really good. No, I mean, excluding this, but I think that was a Sunday stream and no one cared, right? These numbers are really, really good, right? And this is like what? If you're getting around, let's say 1,300, you're getting a little bit more than a quarter of your subscriber base. That is a really good number. The problem is they don't know how to maintain that, right? Because in the week after, the numbers start trickling down really bad. Now you can make the excuse for Friday streams because Friday there's a lot of people that are not home, so they're not, they don't really stream. A lot of people don't watch a lot of stream Friday because most people are out and about. Okay, fair point. These numbers are not. These numbers went down pretty big compared to the week before, and even from the week even before that. Now we're looking at last week numbers. These numbers went down even worse. Really, really, really bad. How? And then we look at yesterday's stream. Now Mondays, I'll give them a bit of credit. Monday stream, people on Mondays are, it's whatever, it's Monday. But still, you're starting the week off pretty weak. That's not a good thing. especially when these channels are always on the edge of being canceled or completely annihilated. You know, that's not a good thing. Now let's look at numbers for queens, right? Queen numbers, right, are where they should be, really good number, but you could kind of tell that Queen is suffering quite a bit. And the streams where you can clearly see Tina and Becky fight, because we're gonna look at their super chat because it's important, because money is always important with these people. Oh my God, why is it taking forever? Right, we're gonna look at their donation. You can clearly tell. I added you on Discord project. Oh, thanks, man. I'll add you too. Give me 1 second. Bing boom, I add you. What was I saying? You can see, right, that the numbers they're getting are for a channel that is getting up, right, for a channel that is getting anywhere between 2,000, like let's say they're getting anywhere between 2,500 views to like even 35, even 4,000. You're making this kind of money. That's not a good thing. And even like Mike straight up said Friday, when all that shit happened with Tina, the fake AI video that clearly was fake. And even though it wasn't AI, you can tell that they just scrambled and just made a bunch of clips, right? The days before, the last couple days, their numbers are tanking. They were not getting as much donation. Hell, you could even say that if it wasn't for these days where Becky, these last couple days, right, the last like 2 weeks, I think the reason they were getting this much money was mostly because Becky came back into the fold, so they were able to make more money off of this, right? They were able to use the hate and then Becky coming back as a way to generate, but after that it dropped off pretty hard until Friday and then until yesterday. And the fact that people, I'm gonna say this again, people collectively paid $600 for Becky to release a fake video that was clearly fake. $600. I'm just saying, you pay $600 for a clearly fake video that Becky made on the spot, right? Or not even on the spot, but she made a couple days, right? Because you weren't getting money the last couple days prior. You were not making money. Mind you, you're splitting the money 4 ways plus YouTube. So they're not getting, they're not getting the 1,100. Even if you split it by 25, they're not even getting that actual number. They're getting less than that. Also, I don't even know why Keemstar needs 25% from every single show or even more. Unless he's using those shows as a way to fund other projects that we're not aware of. So, like, what are you doing, man? What are you doing? Now we're gonna look at Milker as well, because I think it's a good idea regardless. You have exceeded your free use limit. You son of a fucking. I like how you can't see super chat. Wait, can I see live? No, I can see viewerships. I hate it. I hate. Hold up, can I see the super chat? Can I see the? I could. Okay. Well, we can see live the number. Why? AI uses it's okay if you use it to save money. Example, you need a bio, you use AI to write your bio. You shouldn't be allowed to start a company writing bio for other. Yeah, you shouldn't really. AI uses it's controversial. AI is very hard to talk. Well, not that it's hard to talk about. It's just very controversial. It's a very hot button issue nowadays. Especially in the art scenes. I personally would say this very confidently that I don't mind using AI here and there, but you should not rely on it. AI is okay as not as a foundation, but as a guide or as a starting off point. It should not be the foundation of something. It should be a guide or starting out or like a baseline of something and you go from there, I'm perfectly fine with that. Right? But but if you're using AI for every little thing, it's kind of like why? And mind you, you're still paying for AI. It isn't like AI is free most of the time. You still gotta pay for a lot of its uses. So sadly we can't see I don't know why it won't let me see. No, it's letting me see queens, but it won't let me see milkers. That's super chat. It's still not letting me see. On my channel, I like to make good content and try to make people happy and show people what happened to me. I disagree. AI will replace many jobs soon. I mean, I'm not gonna dog whistle, but Uncle Ted, um, AI is the future. Could be. It's only the future as long as there's smart people and people that are capable of running AI. If you're having like just any random run AI, then it's just gonna crash and burn like anything else. You need people who are intelligent enough and a society enough, and you need intelligent and you need competent people to maintain the software and always update the program and always approve, make it better day by day. If you're just keeping it as it is and just letting it stagnate, then AI is just not gonna go anywhere. Triggerman, what's your opinion of AI music? I should make AI music. I'm gonna say something real fast because YouTube, that's YouTube. Salsa Blade. That's not. I mean, Playboard is not letting me. If you pay $30 a month, you can get. You can. I hate the internet. Hold on, let me look at other YouTubes. I'm nervous to show my face again because of the haters. You don't have to show your face. You don't never need to show. You have no obligation to show your face to anybody, right? People who always go on about camming up and all that, who cares? You don't own anybody to show your face. You don't own anybody on the internet to show who you are. Just be, you don't need to show them. You don't have any obligations. I don't have an obligation to show you guys my face or tell you, but I choose to in the end. If I ever show my face, I show my face. If I don't, I don't. Who cares? You know, uh, you know, not really getting into politics, but like, you know, we live in a country where we value freedom and liberty, but then at the same time, like when I guess you exercise your liberty to show your face, it's so people are so quick to take away your liberty and freedom. I think that's a hypocrisy in itself. You don't have to show your faith. You're not obligated to. That's your choice. That's your freedom. That's your liberty. I have my opinions on liberty and freedom, but I do think in a way that is basic. You don't have to show your face. You don't need to. You can choose to be anonymous, and that's perfectly fine. The people that go on about this stuff have nothing better to do. Who cares if you don't cam up, right? People don't need to see what you look like. People don't need to know about what you do in your life. That's your choice. And, they're not obligated to know about that. Right? And if people have a problem with that, tell them to go suck a dick. It's their choice. If they don't like it, who cares? It depends on the genre. AI produce some genres stronger than others. I think AI music, I think in terms of like electronica, techno music, house stuff, I think AI will really do good in that field. But I think things like metal, rock, and rap and like R&B, I think are always better when they're done by a person. Um, like since it's like synth music, I think will probably really, really benefit with AI, where I think things like metal, rap, country, folk, stuff that like I think do require, well, not all rapping, right? Maybe like basic rap beats would probably would be beneficial if they use AI, but things like metal, R&B, jazz, and a lot of those stuff generally should be stuck with that. Cause on Grace Discord, the haters on there, they make fun of me and they call me the F word and they N word, and then they edit my pics and made me look awful. You don't have, like, that's what I mean. You don't have to show who you are. It doesn't matter. Don't let them get to you. Just, you don't have to. I don't. I don't show people. And even people I do show are people I've known for years and I trust them. Again, you're not obligated. End of the day, if they're like demanding to see your face, if they're demanding, they're gonna mess with you. It's like a hazing process. If they're demanding it that bad, don't do it. It's a way for it's a kind of like an entrapment, right? It's a way for them to kind of get you and got you moment. You don't have to do it if you don't need to, you know. That's what I would say. Trying to look at some stuff. Give me 1 second, guys. Where are we at right now? What are we doing? We're gonna look at I'm gonna try to look at a different website so we can see more of the stats for these channels. I'm just trying to look at live viewership because I think to get my point across, that's what I'm looking for. If we can give these stupid apps. Good morning, Spud. Hey, Hollow Red, how you doing, man? Hope you're doing good. Hope you're not abusing your mod power I gave to you before I got kicked out. I hope you're not doing anything stupid that I wouldn't do. Right? 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 Okay, what am I looking at? What are we looking at? Holy crap, why is everything so slow today? Alright, so we're looking at total views or not. Nah, you're good, man. I kind of figured you would have used it. I would have done the same. Kind of did. Okay, why? Okay, I guess we gotta use Salsa Blade. I really don't want to use Salsa Blade, but I guess we're gonna have to use it just at the foundation of what I'm trying to get across, right? Oh my god, why can't I do shit today? Alright. I gotta be logged in. Give me 1 second, guys. Okay, whatever. I guess we're gonna have to do this a different, or can we still look at it as it is? We're gonna look at one more thing real fast. Maybe. No, because these websites are stupid as hell, and you gotta go through a process of, oh, we can't let you see all this stuff. Chud. I really do hate the internet. Unless I can go somewhere else to get these numbers I'm looking for. Huh. Oh, well, I guess we can't do anything. It is what it is, I guess. I guess I'll have to Video just wait, can I look at one more day? No, I can't because everything is stupid around the internet nowadays. Whatever. We're gonna have to just look at it at a different time, ladies and gentlemen. Those numbers, I'm gonna have to barrel through it a different time. There we go. So we're back at this again. We're back at toward the end of the locale live. Let me read some of your guys' chat. Good morning. Dancing on the sun. I said after Hunger Six related became friends at the I abused the crap out of it. Sorry, Spud. Nah, you're good, Hollow Rat. You are good, man. You don't have to really. I expect people to abuse the shit out of it. That's why I gave the people mods, the people I did, because I thought it would be hilarious to do that before I got kicked off completely. So I said screw it. I said, "Oh, I'm gonna hack you and find out where you live." One of them did not know my name address. He said he found it on Google. When I looked, I couldn't believe I had to take care of my Google account. Yeah, it's important to always keep your identity a secret at all costs. Privacy is highly important. People are gonna mess with you regardless. You gotta, learn to keep your private stuff private as best as you can because people are always gonna find a way to mess with you. It's just the way things are. It sucks, but that's why I say just keep certain things private. Trying to look at something else. One more second. Sorry, I was looking at something in my phone right now, trying to figure out something. Let's see, how long have we been streaming? We've been streaming for almost 2 hours. I'm going to take a quick break, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be right back.
So once again, let me remind you that me and Billy still want to do an actual nerd show where we talk about actual nerd stuff. You have 2 OGs on YouTube ready to make us all money. So you should give us a chance to pitch on that channel and see if people tune in.
So you want me to fire Zayzudit and Buff?
No, we've talked it through, and even though we don't like splitting the money 3 ways, we believe one Buff we would bring enough to the table. So it'd be your 3 Bs, Boogie, Billy, Buff.
So you want me to fire Purple Hair?
You can move her somewhere else. I don't care what you do with her. She's just destroying that channel.
I got an idea. Why don't you and Billy host?
So if you're not aware, Zayzudit is the main host of Nerds right now. Whether or not she is destroying the channel is a different question. I think without her, Nerd would have died a long time ago. She kept Nerd a little longer and gave it a lot more life support. But also at the same time, you have a bunch of people who are just straight up are not content creators and never made content. So you have a bunch of people that are just not
Nerds
content
tomorrow,
creators.
and I'll give them the day off.
You're giving them channels.
Let's see what Billy wants to do. Let's go.
All right. So
I mean, hell, we'll
you
look
can
at some
host
of these
Hearts for one day
auditions
tomorrow.
anyway.
Let's do it, Billy.
You're going to be up at that time?
I was up every time I had to do it for, I mean, it's 2 p.m., 3 p.m. Eastern, right?
It's 2 p.m. Eastern.
Oh, I thought, did it move back an hour or some shit?
Well, it's 2 p.m.
Never-
Eastern, so 1 p.m. your time.
Okay, never mind. I quit. Give me and Belly a chance to not be sick. Let's not do it tomorrow, but give us a day to prepare because I want to know. Let me talk to Billy about it. I want to make it good. Let me make it good.
Do we just take? Can I like quit? Can you find a new co-host for Loco Live? I think I'm done.
You're just sick. You're just sick.
I don't want to do this show. I've been doing this show every day, and I'm just done. I'm not inspired.
Let's get through April, and let's take actual time to breathe. We haven't taken time since Fat Camp. I've been sick for 25 days.
That's this thing super chatted $19.99.
Kim only keeps people around that beat him to breed him to guide the content. People who can create their own, like Grey Ruby, etc., never last in his universe. It's mostly has to do with just the way they do things in their content and all that, right? It's easier to manipulate people who have never created a YouTube channel than it is, that people who have experience, right? Grayson, like, I don't know how long. I think Ruby's been making content for like, what, 2 or 3 years. Grace, same thing, 2 or 3 years. People like them have been making content, so they have a certain direction of where they want to go with. Where you have a bunch of people who don't have YouTube channel, have never really live stream, or have ever tried to make or even try to make a video, even something simple as what I do. And so they're easily able to be controlled. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, I don't know. And I'm not saying that none of these people aren't talented or not capable, but they haven't really, they haven't put their foot to the door yet. They haven't really like done. So give me 1 second. I need to take my dog out. So again, you have these people. They're not content creators. They're just fans. They're just people who want to be on a show. Right, they never did anything. Every so often you do find gold like Grim, Nightmare, right? Ken, Bean. I think they're pretty entertaining. The few times I saw them, right, they are pretty entertaining. I've created content. I just haven't done it in a year, so my focus is in my weird music. That's perfectly fine. That still makes you a content creator. You're still a creator of content. It's just a very different form. You're not doing video, you're doing music, and that's still the same thing, right? So you have a certain direction. You have already molded yourself to create a certain form of content or a certain thing because you have developed that. You develop it, and you for any number of reasons, don't want to either change that or bend the whim to somebody else who doesn't know what you do. And so you have conflicting problems. Regardless of how we feel about Grace, right? Or even Ruby, they've been doing this long enough where they have made their content in a certain way that their people like, right? I would admit that Grace on Queens was enjoyable. She was great to watch. But you can tell that they would have been, conflict between how Grace is as a person and the way Keemstar is. I'm not saying they couldn't work with each other. It's just all about control. And you can easily tell that there was more to deal with Mike as well, because Mike probably wanted more general control of the show than Grace. Now, whether or not that would have been beneficial, I don't know, right? We don't know how Queens would have been if Grace would have still been there, right, long enough. And I do think Queens would benefit with a third host, but that's never going to happen because then they would have to split the money 5 ways. Something that people have to remember: they're not splitting it 2 ways. They're not splitting it 3 ways. They're always going to say, "Oh, we're splitting the money 3 ways." They're not. They're splitting the money more ways than you could think. I'm doing gameplay and reaction and vlog stream every day. It's not easy as you think of it. It really isn't. It's why you make accurate observation, bro. I can't imagine Grace shaving her eyebrows. I actually think she would shave her eyebrows, but the way Grace would have done it would have been more entertaining, and she would have probably gotten more donos, right? She would have probably been, yeah, I'll shave my eyebrows. She said, screw it, why not? But she would have been able to bring in more money. She would have been able to farm that content for the next couple. I can easily see her saying, "Hey, you guys donate. I don't know, if you donate $520, I'll put a squiggle line on my eyebrow, on my shaved eyebrows." I can see Grace easily doing that, and people will be donating hand over fist, right? But they don't do that, right? Let's say Becky. If Becky decided I'm gonna keep my hair off, but every so much donation, she puts like some type of drawing on her hair, and whoever if they reach that goal, they put a drawing on her bald hair. They can do that, and that money will be there, but they don't. So I have a lot of respect for what Ruby and Grace do on camp. Yeah, 100%. She would have been a great antagonist. Oh yeah, 100%. Grace would have been a great antagonist. She would have been lovable to hate. In a way, it would have rehabilitated her character. Well, not even this character. Let's not use the word character, right? 'Cause that's bullshit. Her person, who she is as a person, it would have rehabilitated who she is as a person. It's just never gonna happen because she would have been too dominated by Ben. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows, and even like Ben and Grace knows that, right? It's the same thing people have been saying for years on end. I've always shaved my head every 3 months. I've so far used 3 clip. I don't go bald all the way. I keep my hair really short though. I haven't cut my hair in a year, but I do get a trim every so often. I don't think you should ever force someone to shave their head. No, you shouldn't, but these women don't care. You think Becky really cares? Becky knows that she's basically on a gold mine. She is on top. This is a job where she doesn't have to work that hard. She only has to do it 2 hours a day, 10 hours a week, right? Maybe 12 to 14 hours, depending if they're gonna do weekends or longer, right? They're making very much easy money. They have a strong fan base, even though this channel is very split, right? Between people who like Tina and people who like Becky. So to her, she doesn't care if she's being forced. She just wants to get paid at Trigger. Yeah, straight up. She wants the bag. She wants the money. It's not about being forced. It's about how much she can get paid for it. And that's just her mindset. And in a way, you don't have to respect it, but game is game. Yeah, they make easy money. I'd rather shave my own head instead of a barber. That always means mess up. Plus, I save money on it. Oh yeah, that's true. I had a person I knew that would trim my hair for free, but I don't talk to that person anymore, so I don't get free trims anymore. So, first world problems at their finest. And it's really what I'm trying to get across. That's what I'm really trying to get across is that, to them it's just easy money where they don't have to do much. Hell, if they were to do 3 hour long stream, they would probably get more. But also, it's also the same time, it's the way they treat their audience, why they also have not been getting as much money lately as well.
I mean, I like Gojira and Metallica, so I'm in that group too.
We all like Metallica and we all like Megadeth. What I'm saying is, would you like to take an actual
I
2
like
days in a
Megadeth,
row off at some
Metallica.
point? Have you ever considered that? Since Fat Camp. Dude, we broke our backs at Fat Camp. We destroyed our fucking selves.
Look, dude, our numbers are going down and down and down, and it's because I'm not excited about doing the show.
When we saw those numbers.
And what happened last time?
Well,
you took a few days off. Let's take a couple days off, dipshit.
Don't want to do the show. I'm bored with the show.
Mike was telling me the same thing. We need a breather. We need to breathe. We're still in mourning from our fucking loss from Fat Camp. You realize that too?
Yeah, Wings.
They do need a break. It would not be a bad thing, especially for me. I ain't gonna lie. That if they did take a couple days off and let the shows do what they want, let the other show for the next couple of days, just let them run free. Let them spread their wings out rather than being constrained. Because the problem is, right, with these shows is that they're constrained by a time limit, which is 2 hours or sometimes an hour and a half, right? And because of they're constrained by that limitation, right, they don't have enough room to spread their wings out that they would, right? Local Live had the advantage of that. They were able for a year spread their wings out. They can do 3-hour streams, 4-hour streams, right? So they were able to do that, and that was beneficial. Now with Queens, when Queens was around, Queens had the opportunity. But then when Queens was developing and they announced Queen, they announced Rewind. So Queens for a bit of time had the chance to spread their wings, and they sort of did. But now we're seeing it stagnate, and they can't, and they need to spread their legs more. Now I'm also saying it as a detractor because we kind of are in an ecosystem. And with same thing in Rewind main goal is to just recap the whole day, and sometimes they don't even do a good job. I don't care what anybody say. Sometimes I cannot. I can't tolerate Billy. I can tolerate Xylee because I have a friend that's sort of similar like Xylee, so I can tolerate Xylee. I cannot tolerate Billy. I cannot tolerate the fact that he got to go on this whole gaslighting. He has this childlike mindset, like just rewind the show, just look at that and just get straight to the point. If you want to make joke, cool, that's perfectly fine. But stop what you're doing, Billy. It's just annoying as hell. It made it work a couple years ago, but I'm just like, dude, come on, just get with the program, just get with the shit. I can only handle 2-hour streams on my channel or an hour because I don't think I'm ready for a 12-hour, 5-hour that much. Most people aren't. Most people aren't. You need to have either content that you can do for a long period of time, or you need to have that attention span or the drive to do. I could probably maybe one day down the line I'll do like a whole day where I'll stream for 4 or 5 hours, and I've done that. I've done some long streams in the past. I think one of my longest stream was like 4 hours. I've done 4 hours streams before, right? I've done like 2 4-hour streams back to back. I've done 2.5, so I've done it and I have not had a problem. I just the best way, in my opinion, when you're streaming is just not think about it, right? Don't look at the time, just go with the flow. And once you're in the flow, once you're in the talking motion, right? Like the way like throughout this stream, I didn't even really look at our time. I just went into it and just started talking and just made point after point. Whether they were valid or whether you agree with them, it's a different question. But you just gotta get into a rhythm like jazz, right? Or classical music. Once you get into that rhythm or that like poetry where it just rhymes, right? Once you get into that emotion, you're good. You're set as a person, and you can keep on streaming as long as you can. Once you're in motion, once you can keep like right now, I've been talking for a good 4 or 5 minutes straight, and I haven't stopped because I'm just in that flow, and that's what people have to do. Mike should have never been on the camera. 100%. Mike should have never been back. Mike should have straight up just been fired. But the fact that they keep Mike going, it's stupid, it's dumb, right? And you know what? Controversial opinion, right? Here's a controversial opinion. I think if they kept Mike and they brought back Becky, and the fact that Keemstar spoke to Lings, they should just bring back Wings. They should just straight up just bring back Wings, right? I started doing these relaxing streams just to show a picture and playing. Yeah, see, that's always good. Rhythm equal Adderall. So I don't do stuff like that. I just kind of just once I get into this like motion of talking, I just kind of go into it and just not think about it. I enjoy it a lot actually. Believe it or not, in my own like personal life, like before I really started doing streaming or anything, I was kind of viewed as a shy person, but like once I kind of knew people, I got into this motion of just talking to people like just casually. So to me, it's a little like funny. If you met me in real life, I'm very similar on stream. Probably more schizo in real life than I am out online because you're more limited, believe it or not, on the internet, depending on the platform than I am in real life. So I think they're going to bring Wings back. They have to bring Wings. I always get the feeling to like Wings will come back. I think Wings has to come back. I know that in the leaks with Keemstar, he mentioned that he may not bring him back. At this point, they have to bring him back. The show cannot continue without Wings, right? The show cannot progress forward. Wings was a cornerstone. Wings had brought something to the table, and you know what? And I'll even say this: Keemstar also realized that the detractors he got from Wings were a boost to the show, and now they're not there. There's no boost. There's no people are not talking about it anymore, right? Those people who detracted Wings, they're not really talking about Local Live anymore. So the show needs the hate. It needs to bring that back because no matter what, and I'm not the only one. Laura Rush himself straight up told Zay Zudit to her face that these shows, this mission project of Local Live was built on hatred, and that is what missing in these shows. It's the need of hatred. At the same time, as much as the shows rely on hatred, it can get to the point where it's too much and can actually cause the show to recede more than grow. In the case of Queens, I think in Queens it's very more obvious. Queens has such a divided fan base that you really don't see anywhere else within the Local Live universe. You don't see it in Rewind. I don't really care for Madhouse. Sorry to say that, Jaffrey. I don't really care for Madhouse one. Oh, hey, what's up, Dan? How you doing, Dan? What is it? Before I continue my time, it's sad to say that the Dan and TK show is not happening. I really liked you guys on Reject. You guys really killed it, but it's a shame that it's a shame that it didn't go anywhere. I would have liked to jumped on a few times with you guys and shoot the shit, but that's not the case anymore. That is not the case anymore. Okay, what was I saying? Yeah, like how most channels rely on some form of hate to continue, or you either rely on a hate or you rely on love to grow your channel. And neither of those things are really bad. It's just how you're gonna use it. I mean, hell, if you think about it, technically Grace, it relies on some form of disdain or dislike for her to grow. Something would happen to it got shut down. Something with OPC Don and the dwarves and all that. I think Dan can explain it to you better than I can. Which is a shame because I would have really liked to kind of jump on a few times, but it is what it is, I guess. It is what it is. It is what it is. It is. I work a lot and I miss shit. Yeah, it happened like I think like 2 weeks ago. It happened like close to 2 weeks ago. So it's a shame. It's a shame. Give me a second, guys. Got a text by somebody. All right, we're done. But yeah. So Dan OBC some nuke the channel and then nuke me and King personal channel. Hiroshima Nagasaki. Yeah, dude, that's fucking suck. Wait a minute. He ran your guys' personal channel. What the hell? What the fuck? What? That's oh my god. Oh god, I feel bad for you guys. I don't know what OBC and Don is thinking. I was streaming. You use OBS or StreamYard? I use Streamlabs better than it, and it won't mess up when I use OBS. OBS is good if you're like a solo streaming or stuff like that. If you're gonna have a panel, right? Either you can use Discord as your panel holdout, or you can use Streamlab or StreamYard. I know Ruby and Grace and I think Ava, they use Streamlab or StreamYard. Most people use OBS and then they use Discord as a way to have people hop on. Really, what the F did he go after your personal channel? I think it had to do. Maybe Dan could correct me. I'm not sure. I could just completely be making this up. I think it has to do with I think there's internal fighting between Dan and TK with OBC Don. I think that he didn't like that. I don't know. I think OBC Don could correct me, or Dan could correct me on that. Cause sucks that it got shut down like that. It died too soon. Died a little too sooner. What are we at right now? What are we at right now? Here we are.
Is leaving, fucked up the dynamic, and then like we still trucked on like nothing was going on, and then my dog died, and then mermaids, donuts, and now I'm sick. It's like fucking today a tornado allegedly almost hit me according to my phone, going "Woo!" Like it's like I can't catch a fucking break, dude.
Exactly, which is why we need to take a couple days fucking breather. Look, we have the thing in May planned. In May, let's actually just relax and party. Can we fucking relax?
The
You
fool
need to
super
breathe.
chatted $20. Just smoke a cigarette and pull up your big boy pants, Keen. Don't be a quitter. You didn't quit smoking. You can do this.
Yeah, also, what about 2 sips of beer? Won't that fix everything?
It's just been a non-stop fucking bad news on top of bad news on top of bad news. It's like,
look, do you believe in God? Do you believe in God? I do. Do you believe in God? God gives you exactly as much as you can handle, not a drop more, not less. Now, you have 2 options. You can push through it. Hey, guess who told me this last summer? You can either push through it or give up. Pussy. Pussy.
I just don't fucking care. I used to care. I used to care. I don't care anymore.
You will after some breathing room. You didn't even take time to mourn your fucking pet, man. Take time. We need to take time. We need to breathe. Get laid. Eat some good food. Drink. Stay off your fucking phone. Take 2 days to breathe. And you'll be excited again. I know.
I'm gonna come to work tomorrow on the show dressed up as an emo. Somebody in the chat said I'm going through my emo phase, and I think they're right.
How good this happened to me. I'm out of here. It's 7 o'clock. Fucking blur.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're in.
I do think that okay, wow, whoa, that was a weird sound. I do think that they do deserve some time off, and I think they should use it as a way to recover, like 2 or 3 days of like just time off, so they don't constantly feel like they're being burnt out. Because eventually, people do get to that point, they get to, and they do experience that downside and that the effect of it. It's not healthy. It's not good. Right, it's one of the main reasons why I stopped streaming for a while, because I was doing it almost every single day for almost a month straight, and I felt like at some point I was a little burned down, and that's how I feel sometimes with video making. Is like you feel burned out, so sometimes you have to take 1 or 2 days off. You have to let your mind, ease, because doing it constantly is not easy. So it's not easy. Again, especially with these guys they've been doing this almost for 2 years straight without a real sense of break. Regardless of if you like people or not, sometimes you have to be willing to give people time off and break. So, I don't know what else we can cover. I think, you know what? We can cover the Amaru stuff if you haven't heard about the Amaru supposed allegation. Now, they've been more or less, quote unquote, they've been more or less disproven, or at least they're not who we think it is. But I've heard different things. I've heard different things about them. I've heard, if I can even spell her name right. Hold up, give me 1 second. Unless you made a post about this. No, because women aren't real. To give you some context, a day ago, I made a video on it, 2 different videos. There was an allegation by some girl that said that, quote unquote, that she was groomed by an individual, and everybody assumed it was Amaru, right? And I covered it, right? And then I did a video before I fell asleep last night. I had to do a update on it because I guess we were kind of fed some misinformation, or it was just it wasn't who we thought it was. If these people ever have shit on. Right, I'm gonna try to look for the exact stuff. Cause you know, I'm still gonna keep my point about how I think we do see a lot of streamers do shit like that. We do see a lot of streamers get caught with this kind of stuff talking to minors. Like, I see 17-year-old, bro, don't talk to her. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing with your life? You're talking to a literal minor. Like, the hell are you on about? So the real question is, can we see? Wait 1 second, guys. I'm just looking for the original tweet about this. We're not gonna find it. We're gonna have to use a different one. I never had a problem with OPC. You guys plug my channel and read it. Oh God, I cannot. I'm gonna choke on something today. What are we looking at right now? Well, obviously you guys are just staring at my profile picture as always. I have my Frogger. Alright, so these are original video. Now, hold up. Before we move forward, hopefully you guys can. No, here we go. That's how I wanted to show you. So if you're not aware, yesterday I did a video on this, and a lot of people were covering that apparently OTK. Now the original post has been edited out and everything, so we'll get into it when we get to it. But apparently, Amaru was accused of groomer minding another streamer back when she was 17. They dated. Now this has been proven to not be the case. This has been proven to not be Amaru at all. If you don't know who Amaru is or anything, she's a she's a Twitch streamer who's, I think she's the head of OTK, One True King, or whatever it's called. And apparently somebody, or it wasn't her, she didn't accuse Amaru of it, but it was applied, or it wasn't even applied to her, it was applied to somebody else. And then people just assume it was her. And obviously I covered that. And then she made a statement regarding that. Hopefully you guys can see that. Hopefully, give it a second. I realized there's a bit of a lag between tweet to tweet and you guys catching up with it. Give it a second or two. Yeah, okay. So, why did it do that? Cuts off a little bit. So this is her response. The person I was referring to in those clips is not Amaru, and I never said it was. The fact people ran with the story and put her name out in an attempt to cancel her is really disgusting. It's not anyone's story to really retell except mine. Not only are people harassing her, but they are spreading literal lies, things I didn't even say to try to make her look bad. I did not tell the story to attempt to cancel anyone. If it wasn't my intention that it blew up. If you're a regular, you know I always talk about relationship and shit, and that nothing new. You people gotta stop assuming everyone talking about is from OTK. And that was her. And then apparently she came out and denied her story about it. The person I was referring to wasn't Amaru. We don't know, right, who she was referring to. There's not a lot of female streamers who are like lesbos or whatever. And I think it was, from what I understand, I've been hearing that it was somebody from OTK themselves that was spreading the hate and rumor about Amaru. Apparently, she dated one of the guys from there, and the guy is known to pull crap like this constantly. So it was a way for her to get revenge. And then the guy here said women are physically incapable of grooming. This whole story is nonsense. Not true. Women are capable of grooming than anybody else, right? Oops, sorry. Just wanted to cover that because that was happening, and I just wanted to get that out of the way. Made a mistake, or I say I'm not the only one that made a mistake. A lot of people did, but end of the day, it's like, who are you referring to, and why aren't you saying that? Were you or were you not groomed? It's like you can't kind of just you can't, and those clips from that one tweet was removed, so it makes me kind of think of like, okay, so then what's going on? Who was the one? Who was the one that diddle you? Who was the one that pulled a ditty on you? But we're never gonna really figure that out or find out anytime soon. Like always, a lot of this stuff will always get swept under the rug. And even if it was her, it's always gonna get swept, and a whole lot of people are gonna cover it up. It's just the truth. The same thing would happen with Dr. Disrespect. The same thing that would happen with Kid Behind the Camera. It's just always gonna get swept up, and we just have to sadly suck it up because that's the life we live. That's just the society we live in. The people, you know. It's just, you know. So that's a sad fact of things. Okay. I think we did a good, I think, you know, for my first stream I did in a long time, right? I haven't streamed it for a good month or two. We're almost at a 2 hours and 30 minutes mark. I think I did a good stream today. I don't know if you guys enjoyed it or not. I hope you guys did, as always. You know, I appreciate every little help I can get. I always would say that much. You know, thank you guys for watching a lot. I'm not sure if I'm going to be streaming again tomorrow or some point this week. I'm going to at least try to attempt to stream. And if I do feel like I'm going to stream, I'll try to make an announcement or a post. So maybe there'll be people, you know, we can get more people watching. We hit more than 300 subscribers today. Thank you guys so much for subscribing and sitting and just enjoying my content. You know, I really appreciate it a lot. Good show, bro. Thanks, Triggerman. Drinks. You know, we'll see what happens. Maybe, you know, if I do stream anytime soon, I'm gonna try to get like a docket or something, and we can just look over some stuff. With that being said, I hope you guys have a good one, and you know, hope you guys have a good day, have a good morning, have a good night, and till next time, God bless, and cue the outro.